Good morning, Aletheia Church. It is uncharted times and you have found yourself in uncharted waters. But one of the great gifts that we have is prayer. And yet, how to pray is not always obvious to us. So what I'm doing in this series of the Daily 5 videos is just giving you, from my experience, the best and simplest and practical ways to pray. And we're looking at the Lord's Prayer in Matthew chapter 6, where Jesus instructed his disciples to pray. And here's the line we're going to look at today. Hallowed be your name. I'm not sure if you've ever worked in an environment where the reporting structure is unclear. But there are a few things that can be more frustrating because there might be a dozen different people who believe that they are your boss, and people acting like they're your boss and giving you instructions as if their word is the final say. And it can be really frustrating to work. What is really helpful is when somebody comes in who is your boss, who does have that level of authority, and says, look, let me clear it up for you. I am your boss. And you can breathe a sigh of relief. This line, hallowed be your name, I believe it's a prayer that is kind of like requesting, may God be given his due position and authority by all of his creatures. You see, maybe you've heard this line said as holy is your name. Now, God's name is certainly holy, but that's not the word it uses. It says hallowed be your name. And this is a word that says, Lord, may your name be held as holy. May it be revered as holy. May it be considered holy. What I think we learn from this line in terms of how to pray is we need to pray that God alone would be worshipped as God. That God alone would be worshipped as God. How do we do this? Well, in our time of prayer, we simply ask that. And in terms of who God is, we looked at this yesterday. Our Father in heaven. Our prayer should be along the lines of, God, may you be given the due authority, praise, honor, and worship that is fitting for the creator of the universe. St. Augustine, in his work, Confessions, he describes sin as disordered loves. When you love something more than God, when you value and invest your heart in something more than God, that's when everything goes pear-shaped. This prayer is saying, Lord, may both my life and the universe be rightly ordered to where you receive the highest regard in the reporting structure. As the creator of the universe, as the king of the universe, may people and may the world and may I myself live with you as the head, you as king, and may everything else find its place underneath that reality. Because it is true. God is king. God is ruling. There's nothing outside of his jurisdiction. There's nobody more important than he is. And when we call out in prayer and we pray that God alone would be worshipped as God, we are investing our hearts in what is true because he alone is God. And we're saying, God, may my life reflect that. May my decisions reflect that. And ultimately, may all of history and all of the world live in light of that truth. Now we know that will only come into full realization when Jesus Christ returns. But in the meantime, we pray that we would live in light of that future promise here and now. How do we pray? We pray that God alone would be worshipped as God. God bless you.